Well, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. We're in Oakland here for today's flight, flying out of Oakland International for FedEx over to Scottsbluff, Nebraska. Didn't know FedEx went in there. I should have kind of figured they go into just about everywhere. But about 50 miles away from Scottsbluff, I used to work at a train yard, Alliance, Nebraska, where all the coal from the Powder River comes in. They do some quick maintenance on some of the cars and kick the trains east to give you coal so you all have power in your houses that run on electricity from those kinds of plants. So it was kind of fun, quite interesting compared to the yard work I did in St. Louis versus what they do. We dealt with, well, actually, our yard fit in a little small area they had. These were a couple mile long tracks to hold the 100 to 150 car trains. So quite interesting out there. Enough of about the Alliance stuff and all. Let's get into what we came here to do, and that is to fly. So, like I said, today's flight, we're heading over to Scottsbluff. So why don't we get up into the aircraft, and we are going to be cold and dark. Okay, and as you can see, we are indeed cold and dark. So without further ado, let's get right off and going with the checklists here. Hang on a second here. I did want to check one thing. Okay, just Los Angeles is up. Okay, so right now we are up and running on VATSIM. So feel free to join in from Oakland, pick a place along the way if you want to meet in Scottsbluff, or hey, just come on up and fly at the same time. Love to chat with you in the chat room. I'm just bringing up one piece of software, my ACARS program, as FedEx allows me to fire it up before the airplane is ready to go, so to speak. Wrong one. There it is. And we're going to just simply click Start, go to Dispatch, put in our flight. KOAK KBFF. And you know what? The one thing I did not look on our flight today, 35,000 feet. All right. And let's put in the flight plan, online, downlink. Okay, good. I just realized it had a lot of superfluous information in the flight plan. It didn't take it. That's good. We're ready to roll. So what we're going to be doing is, like I said, starting cold and dark and powering this plane up. So I'm just pulling one last piece of web check here to make sure we are online. Oakland to BFF. Okay. All right, so there we are. Who's the other one here? We got another one, it looks like, here in Oakland. Someone going to Anchorage. Are they going to Anchorage or are they on their way? Looks like they've already gone. Oh, someone's come in from Memphis. Okay, well, no, they're en route. Oh, well, supposedly there are two of us here. Oh, he's down in San Jose. No. Oh, he is on his way to Anchorage. Okay. Anyway, I'm just fooling around there. Hang on a second. We'll get rid of that. Go here. Click here. And just seeing who we got hanging out in the chat area. Jay Drums, welcome aboard. You can be my number 3 guy on the plane. Cargo needs to be latched in behind us. Hope you're having a great day, a better day at Mid-America Airport than Tuesday. So, all right, and so let's go through the checklist here. So we need to do a preliminary aircraft prep. Now that involves using primarily the EFBs, and you can find it one of 2 ways. This way, or it's right there. I just go here, and I'm going to bring it up on ground. I've already flipped it so it's easier for us to see. So we have the stair. Well, here, let me just put us back outside. We can see the stairs, the cargo loader, the air conditioning unit. Coming around to the other side. Hang on a second. We're going to go through a building here. So, oh, wait a minute. I can just do this. Now, should keep us out of the building. Cargo jet, as you saw in the opening, was next to us. Or if you didn't, it is next to us. These are not what they would use to load cargo into the plane, folks. They would use smaller versions of the main door one, if not that one, depending what airports have. So we have stairs, chocks are in place. You can see them little triangles right there. Loaders, GPU, that's this guy right out front. Fuel truck, oh, there he is on the other side. And here, there's the fuel truck. And the ACU, which is the air conditioner, and the loader. All right. Now, a lot of people, including this guy, have had a lot of problem once they get the flight factor 767. This is actually, hang on, I'm going to look that up because I want to make sure, because there's a reason I'm looking up the actual aircraft I have loaded. Aircraft, the extended version. Okay, so I got the 767 extended version. Now there is one higher and one lower. All the one lower is going to give you is the 767 300 ER. Boom. Fine and dandy if that's all you want. But if you're like me, you fly for FedEx, you want the cargo. And they also have the 200 with the modeling. Not the cargo, just the 300 for the cargo. So, with the extended, you get this cargo version. Now, where the confusion and complication comes in with is right here when you try to load this aircraft. It's asking for pallet number. Okay, so you throw 9 in here, or let's say you load up, I think it's 13 across the top. Boom. It's going to put something like 330,000 pounds in the aircraft. Folks, that's way above zero fuel limit. Which, by the way, on this aircraft, zero fuel is 309. So 309,000. So you're way out of whack. Whether it'll load it or not, I don't even know. But anyway, so what the heck and how the heck you can't just put, I think in this case we're hauling, here I'll get the number for you. We have 3 packs that you can't do anything with, so don't worry about that on your SimBrief flight plans. Payload. Now it came out saying 99,700, and when I loaded it into Toolkit, it's actually 100,390. Stand by. And I don't know where the discrepancy came in. I want to make sure I typed that in right. Yep, I did. Okay. So I don't know where the discrepancy is. But anyway, bottom line, the zero fuel weight, let me just make sure, is 295,990 pounds. Okay, so that's our goal. That's what we're going to load this plane to. So each pallet is already loaded. That's what they don't tell you here. So one pallet is 9,800 pounds. Those of you flying this in kilograms, you're going to have to do the conversion in your head because it'll do it for you. So whatever that is what it is. So, so basically 9,800, 1,900, 19,600 for two. You get the drift. Just add 9,800. So that's what the pallet number is. Now, what's this cargo weight then? If it's not telling you, well, if I'm going to put 100,000 pounds on it and it's not going to break it down, what the hell's that for? Okay, so when you get your SimBrief, okay, let me try something here. Let's see if I can make this all work the way I want it to. Hang on a second. Oh, wrong one. Still wrong one. There we go. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm getting Sim Toolkit in a position, so hopefully it'll make sense to you. All right, so let's bring that over. So now you have Sim Toolkit up here as well. So you see, you're going to bring, what is it, 9 pallets I have there at 9,800 is going to bring you up to 88,200. Well, we still need to get to 295,000, and that's 100,390 on the payload. So you can do one of two things, just very simply from your SimBrief tool right here in your payload, put that in your calculator, 100,390 minus, I think it was 88,920 or something close to that. And that's going to give you what you need to get up to that, so you get to this number right here. And folks, that is factoring in the 3 peoples. Your goal is 295,990 pounds. That's the zero fuel weight we want on the plane. In my situation, it was 9790. When I click load, which I'm about to do, that's what's going to load in. Before you can load the aircraft, you have to have the LSU, the loader, and the stairs, plus the doors open for those items. Now, how do you open the doors? Come over to airplane. That's on your EFB. Under ops, click airplane. A few things here you can cut it out. Over here, select your engine. Do I want winglets? Which, by the way, from what I've been told, FedEx does not fly with the winglets. Just so you know. Then you've got your doors. Now you can open them all, which is what I've done. There's that little bulk in the back. If y'all didn't know, there is one underneath the rear left door. So all of these will open up. So that has to be. So again, and if you want, and to put the fuel on, you got to have the fuel truck there. So you got to have the fuel truck, the loaders, both main door and LSU or the bag loaders, and the stairs and the door itself open, because you got to get 3 people on there, you know, your pilots. Okay, so we're going to go back to the cockpit here because I got one more thing I have to load. And that's my fuel. And that is 4045. Okay, so 40,045. I just want to make sure with some, because you all are seeing it. 40,045. Okay. So now we've go and click enter. Optimize your CG. That may move some things around that you see there, but looks good. So we're going to now click load. Loading the plane, please wait. Okay, so we're to that point now where we've loaded the plane. We can actually set the path for pushback, but we don't have to call it right now. I'll wait till we get to the pushback phase. And chocks, gate, fuel trucks, that can all be dismissed if you want the doors closed. We're going to wait. Okay, so that pushes us now. So I hope that is cleared up a lot of the mud around the freighter. The passenger plane's pretty straightforward. This one isn't. It's very confusing. When you all saw that, you probably went, whoa. So just remember, it's 9,800 pounds a pallet, or whatever that is in kilos if you're in kilos. Cargo weight is just that which brings you up to the zero fuel you want. Okay, so if SimBrief will give you that, so if you want to bring it up, you use that cargo weight. All right, so we're loading. So we're going to go for now to the cockpit safety check. All right, so let's stow this guy for now. All right, to do that, of course, we're going to make sure parking brake is on. And it is. Okay, now we're going to head up. While we're down here, make sure your weather radar is off. Appears to be. And we're going to head up top now. Battery switch on. Lift the gate, push on. And literally you can just close it. And now you're going to see it powering up. Okay. Standby power, which is right next to it. Go to auto. Wipers. Oh, wait a minute. Right here. It's only one switch. Make sure it's off. External power, which we enabled. Put that to on. Okay. Obviously, you're saying, why isn't anything going on there, Captain Mike? You'll see here in a second. We've got to get the electricity on the bus. Oh, there we go. You're seeing it. Then the utility box. Now, be very careful down here with the drives. Do nothing with those guarded. That's what the guards are there for. Next to them. There you go. Click those two guys and you're ready. The aircraft is now powered up. The only thing left, turn the emergency lights on. Put on the nav lights. And if you want the wing lights on, fine. Logo switches over here. Okay, and then set your panel and floods to the way you want them. Okay, so we got everything set to go. Now, one thing I am going to do for comfort of the crew. Let's kick. What I'm doing here, it's part of the checklist, but it's not right now. This basically starts making the airplane comfortable. Okay, so I've got trim air on, left to right recirculators are on. My cabin, including the cockpit, are set to auto 12 o'clock. So is the cabin temp. Now the only thing we have left, and that'll fire up air into the aircraft. That's why. The other thing we're going to do is push over to number 2, and I'll explain why we're using number 2 on both of these, and I'm going to turn the electric pumps on for the hydraulics as well as the window heat. Okay, I do the window heat because we're in the plane, we're breathing, we don't want to fog up, so we turn that on to prevent that. This is LDS stuff that I've done. If you've flown it in flight sim, you know these are usually defaulted. So there we go, folks. We have the cockpit safety check completed, and as I call it, the comfort check completed. Also, in a safety check, you would check your voice recorder. Not available here. LDS, it is. Level D systems, by the way, is what LDS stands for. All right. So, pushing on into the FMC setup, we've checked our panel and floodlights. We've got the position, wing, and logo lights on. Since they're asking, we'll go ahead and put them on. Let's take a look outside. You really don't see them. So, for somebody joining the stream, this will make him happy. Nice cargo jet tri-engine 727 next to us. So, back into the airplane and back up top. All right, so now we need to align our navs. What I'm going to first do, okay, up top here, you'll see the dial where you can, let me see if I can zoom that in. The display select, you've got various, well, if you bring it all the way around till it stops to the right, system display, what that's going to do is when you start the align process, which we're doing, go to align nav on the left one. We're waiting for the DC to go out, align to light up. Come on, it'll show here in a second. Now we'll go ahead and get the other two. There it goes to align. So we'll be patient. And that's what it really is being patient while it does this. Basically, it's a check. Will it run on the batteries or will it not? We want it to run on the batteries, folks, in an emergency, not in normal conditions. Now, if you notice, though, we have a number up here. That is the number of minutes till the alignment is complete. Okay, these seem a little, let me just check something here. I don't know, it's just me, but it sure seems like everything's a little on the dark side here. Okay, so I don't know where I'm missing on that. Oh, things seem to have brightened up now. Okay, much better. Okay, so we're in the alignment process. Align on left, center, and right. Number of minutes, 6. And here we go, folks. So with those aligning, let's come down to the main panel. A little bit south. And there's the FMCs. We're going to pull the first one, click on it. Folks, today is the AirNac update day. Update your AirNacs if you're into the nav data. So, just a word of advice, it's if you want to stay current, today is the day. So we're at KOAK. And you can do one of two things here. There's our GPS location. FMCs aren't processed, so those aren't going to work for you. I go with it right there. Click route. OAK is right there. And we're going to KBFF. Okay. Next. And let's put that flight in here real quick. Not many things to put in, folks. LIN. Of course. Hang on a second. LIN. 37, 47, 41, 38. Oh boy. Lens up here. That's why. 38 threes. And it's 1480. 38. Looks good. Okay. Now, the next is an airway. What we do with airways is we do this, folks. We go to Juliet, and then we type 84. That's the airway. On Boeing's, it's very simple. You just type it under VIA, and then you go to here, MVA, Mike Victor Alpha. Next up, airway is Juliet 56. Juliet 56 goes to Tango Charlie Hotel. That happens to be in the Salt Lake City region. And then, sorry folks, J154. That's going to take us up to OCS. Then the Juliet 94. That'll take us right over to Scottsbluff. Bravo, Fox, Fox. Activate, execute. I don't think it'll let me do the next pages. No. So we come back to route. I'm going to go ahead and say, no, I'm not even going to worry about it. So save. Can't do it. My bad. Route copy. Complete. Okay, so now we can put in our departure information. We are going out on the silent to departure LIN transition for runway 30. Execute. Back to the route. Flight number today, FedX, FDX. There we go, folks. That's how easy it is to plan the route. Next up, we do the performance initialization. One thing I want to do here is go back up because there's, whoops, I always hate that. Up. Oh, come on. Really? Okay. 40,045. So that's going to come up to 40.0. You can see I love the 7.5 and the 7.6 because it puts it right up here with my fuel pumps. That way I know what pumps need to be on right now. I wish there was a way to do this with the 7.4 and the 777. Makes things a little easier than having to click that fuel page. Look here, look here. It's all one spot. So, okay, and it is done, so we'll just click here. And our reserve for today's flight is planned at 13.2. And I come to that information, folks, with SimTool. Oh man, I've had SimToolkit up the whole time. My apologies. Well, now that it's up, we'll use it. We come down to the fuel. I go with final reserve. That's at Denver, folks. If we have to bolter do a missed approach at Scottsbluff, and then head down to Denver, we should have, if we've done everything like we're supposed to, 6,671 pounds on the ground. To get there, it's going to take 6,600 pounds to get there. So I add those two together, divide by, I think it's 100, so I get my numbers, and in this case 13.2. Okay, well, geez, sorry folks for having SimBrief up so long. That was not my intention. It's going to be one of those kind of flights. My apologies. So, there we go. Now we got SimBrief away for you. All right, so from there, our cruise altitude again is 350. Cost index on the flight, 70. And I always put for my step climb, ICAO is 4,000, RVSM 2,000, or just put the numbers in. This way you know. Look. Okay, we'll push over to the, let's see where we're at now. It was up there. I could have just looked. Okay, we got about a minute. We'll give it that minute, and then we'll press on to the takeoff page. So it should be switching on to us here shortly. There it goes right there. These two gauges fill in for us. And I'm going to go ahead and put us on status just so something's there. Back up to the top. Now, what I'm going to do here is get this into the normal lat long up there so you know where you're at. Back down. Okay. SimBrief was we do the takeoff ref page. SimBrief does not help us out in almost any way here. So I use a secondary program, Professional Flight Planner. It does a fair job. But for realism, what I've switched back to is my old TopCap program. Same company, just a different program. This is actually what started it. So what you do is you, those of you using it, I can't show it here. It's on a different computer, on a different operating system. Limitations on my end. Oh. All right, so basically what we'll do is we click TLR at the top, the takeoff landing report. That'll come up. We click weather update. That gives us the latest and greatest weather in the area. And let's go ahead and let you see this as well. Okay, so you're seeing it too. Oh, theirs is a little behind. The latest and greatest as of 5 minutes ago. Theirs is an hour and 5 minutes ago. Winds are right now 280 at 13. Altimeter is still the same. And yeah, everything else other than it's gotten a little warmer. We all would expect that. Yeah, everything's cool. We're still good for runway 30. Over at our arrival point, still good for runway 12. Still a dry runway. So then, for those of you with TopCat, you would click ACARS. Make sure you have it set up to use. It's real simple to set up. It'll bring up what the pilots get in a report. And that way, what would come out of the little, here, let me just do it the old-fashioned easy way. There's usually a printer right here, and it would just print right out, rip it, and there's their takeoff data. In this case, the takeoff data reads, we're going to be doing a flaps 5, Hang on a second. Why did it not save? Oh well. We're going to be doing a TO takeoff and a 34-degree downrate. EPR will be 146, and our V speeds are there as well. All right, so hang on. I can do this with TopCat. Hang on. Okay, so we're TO 42. All right, so what we do here now with the information presented us, let me just scroll it down. Okay, so flaps 5, we're going to leave the flaps, so CG first. Next page for the wind, 280 at 30, or 13. 1500 for my acceleration. And we're not going to worry about that. Go back to this page. Okay, now what I've done here, folks, you've got your select speeds on or off. Right now they're off. You click that, it brings them up. We're also going at 42. Okay, so they're recommending very close to what we have. What my information came up with, V1 at 145, we'll go with 143, 150, 157. Okay, there you go, folks. We are now set up and ready to go. All we have left to do now, I'm going to go ahead and program the center panel. So to do that, we're going to go up, V2 plus 10, runway heading 296. And for now, we'll go ahead and set 35,000. Now, if for some strange reason ATC comes up, I'd say we deal with it, but I don't deal with NorCal or SoCal or Oakland or Los Angeles Center. They've sorry about that, folks. Caused me a lot of problems in the past, not necessarily on stream, but flying on VATSIM in general. And I pretty much told them, you come online, I go offline. So that's what will happen. I'm not going to get into any kind of arguments with them. There's no need to. It's not worth it. So, okay. So that takes care, folks, of the FMC setup. All right, so we're going to now move over to the cockpit preparation. To do that, we're going back up to the top. Yaw dampers are going to be turned on. Left and right engine. These two here, make sure they're in norm. Guards down. Okay, hydraulic pumps. C1, C2 hydraulic pumps on. That are your two hydraulics, center 1 and 2. Then all switches in auto. That's down here. Then we're going to, for now, keep the aft bulk on. Well, actually, what we can do, let's switch to the outside. Looking over from this way. All right, so let's pull up that EFB and start closing things up. All right, so we're going to get rid of the LSU and the loader, which you'll see it there, but not very much longer. The fuel truck can go away. And for now, that's all. Then we'll go over to the ops side of the ops airplane. So that means I can close the bulk, the aft, and the main. And you can see everything's removed that we wanted at the moment. Okay. Now with those in play, just wanted to see we had some traffic on the ground. All right, so we are going to continue and turn on our aft cargo heats. Engine start, they want us at both. I go with number 2. How I select this one and my pressurization. Day of the week, odd or even. Odd, number 1. Even, number 2. Pretty simple, straightforward. Engine start switches to on, off at the time. Left and right. Wait a minute, they skipped over a whole bunch. So we'll come down and make sure everything's good here. We're not starting the APU yet, so we don't have to worry about fuel pumps. I think that's why it jumped. And again, making sure our lights are as we want. Our left and right window heats are on. Move the passenger signs, even though there's one passenger on the plane. Coming down to the cabin page, altitudes control, we want to make sure we're set to landing elevation. That will be, actually we're pretty close to it right now. Landing elevation is 3967. Front range of the Rockies, folks, so we're up there. Wish there was an easy way to get up there, but at least it gets us a little of the way there. Making sure. We'll go to 70 to be 67. We'll round up to 70. We want to then go to our altitude 2, which we are on. But again, same thing. Odd day, I'd be on altitude 1. Altitude 2 on even days. Coming down's our pressurization. Equipment cooling needs to be in the auto. And then make sure you set your charts, your cabin charts and dome lights how you want them. One last side to come down, folks. Okay, so we're going to check our temperatures, but we're going to set them here again. Make sure they're 12 o'clock straight up on auto. Trim and recirculator valves need to be on. Cabin temperature needs to be at auto. And I've got the packs turned on right now. I've also turned on the left and right isolation. And we'll go ahead and get the one that the APU uses in the center. And that, folks, wraps up the cockpit preparation. Now we're going to move to the APU startup. To start the APU, left, center, and right pumps as needed. So if there's no on lights here, folks, you don't, press lights, you don't need, they're empty. If you don't believe what it's saying, look down at the little gauge here, it'll tell you what's in them. If there's 0, it's empty. Okay, left and right fuel pumps on. Anti-collision lights are not required for the APU. It is saying too they are not going to be needed. We turned those on with the engines, the main engines. The fact that you have your position lights on lets people know there's power already on the aircraft. Okay, to actually start the APU, that is right here. Move it to on. and then start. Now if you'd like, come down. Here, let's get in the center so it's a little easier to read. Click status. You can actually watch it go through the setup. And I'm just setting the other one. Oop, I want to go to climb. To the climb page. Okay, and once we're to 100%, I'm sorry, to 100 on the RPM, we'll go up and turn the APU gen on and bleed. Okay, I just heard the switch. There's 100. Okay, switch is off. We're on run. So you can come up here now where you clicked the external power right below the battery and standby power, the APU generator. Just click on it. Click on the bleed for the APU. You're going to see everything coming up. Feel like there's one light switch I'm missing. Okay, so there you go, folks, the APU, and we can now come off external power, and that will flicker. And what I always do is come down, say a little prayer, and go, please still be there. Okay, now one thing you can do at this point, you can set your arrival. There are none, so that's why I haven't. So progress says we're going to have 18.3. We'll see how that translates out when we get there. Okay, so we can close that back up. Folks, we are now to the point where we can push back. So, man, frog just will not leave the throat today. Oh, okay, one thing that this checklist doesn't have us walk through. Before we get going anywhere, let's make sure we're going to be heard. First turn that and then turn it. The only way you're going to be heard on VATSIM, at least POSCON for sure, I really haven't gotten a good test on POSCON or VATSIM, is to have that turned on. Okay, so back up here, let's go ahead and call pushback. And again, remember, the checklist does this way back in the preliminary aircraft prep. Better pushback is the best one. And all they say is to click pre-plan. Hang on a second. When it does this to you, folks, if you click delete, it'll come back, it'll clear it out. Get the airplane where you want it, and then turn it the way you want it to turn here. And you're now, all you got to do then is click enter. Oh, no, you don't. I screwed up. So better pushback. Delete. I missed a step. Okay, once you get the airplane where you want, click on it.
Ground to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
Okay, so now is also when you would get your ATIS. So you would be ready. We know already. I'm just checking to make sure. .308. Okay, so let's zoom in. Okay, two ways of setting your altimeter. You can set it by airfield altitude or barometric pressure. I just got the barometric pressure. 3008. Now, to set the one on the first officer side, because there is actually a warning here. It's the last one, altitude disagree, ALT. That's caused because this one's different than the first officers. Now, normally you just go over, dial up the first officers, but they've actually in Flight Factor made that a little easier. A couple of short keys or shortcuts. This set screw, you'll see an arrow by it. Click on it. Disagree went away. If you pan over, actually it'd probably be better to do it this way. And let me try it one more way. There you go. 3008. And then all you have to do is come down and set this one.
Oakland traffic, correction, Southwest 225 is taxiing 30 via Tango Uniform Whiskey to holding point Whiskey 130. Oakland.
Okay, so there we go, folks. We have the altimeter set. Okay, so now we need to make sure all our doors are closed. Now there's a way to do this. We're going to do it my favorite way, go outside the airplane and look. But up here is the warning panels. That is your main door, folks. These are all your different doors and stuff. If they're lit up, something's up. So, like I said, we're going to hop out. Oh, look, the stairs are still hooked in, the air conditioning unit. And I think the GPU is actually still on it. Yeah, right there in front of the loader, I think. Yeah, it still is in front of this loader right here. So, let's do this. Okay, we can clear the stair. Now let's get the stair back. That was stupid. Let's first close the main door. Take note, folks, this one, aircraft, for those of us in the emergency world at airports, goes up into the plane. Doesn't come out to the side or roll around on a hinge. So take a note of that. That is true, by the way. Okay, now on the ground, now we'll get rid of the stairs, the GPU, and the ACU. And I'm going to go ahead and kill the chalk since we're about to call him to us. Okay, last time I did this, I ended up running out of, had no power. Looks like we're good this time. Good deal. Okay, so we don't need this anymore. All right, so let's go ahead and get that pushback truck coming.
Oakland traffic, FedEx 77 lining up, taking off runway 30 at Whiskey 1.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Okay, there comes our pushback right up there, folks. All right, so ground equipment stuff's cleared. We'll let him get into position. At the same time, I want to do a couple of things here. We're going to move these. Probably should have done it this way so that you can see the
Oakland traffic, Southwest 225 is holding short 30 behind departing traffic. Any traffic on short final 30. Oakland.
Okay, and while we're dialed in, let's bring Toolkit up and do a quick taxi departure brief.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Okay, there's Toolkit again. Hopefully this time I won't forget to take it away. Alright, so what I'm going to do first is get rid of the flight plan. And let's... Oh, really? Hang on a second. Can't believe this. I had this up.
Oakland traffic, Southwest 225, lining up 30. Oakland.
It's getting really old with Navigraph. I may have to find someone else.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
And we'll hold on that. Okay. All right.
Oakland traffic, FedEx 77 airborne, runway 30, passing 1,200. Oakland traffic.
Believe it or not, folks, I had Sim Toolkit all fired up.
Southwest 225, departing 30 for a right crosswind.
10 minutes before we used it, and that's not good enough for him. So, really, really getting old. And like I said, I may have to find another product because I'm tired of Navigraph doing this. I hope that I'm not the only streamer saying this. I've listened to a lot of guys, and it's getting really old. Anyway, get off my soapbox. Let's get over to the airport. Across the top is our frequencies. If ATC was here, thank God they're not. And our tower and departure here. All right, so where are we? We're here. We're going to come out right here to Bravo, to Whiskey, take off on Whiskey 1. Once we depart, we're going to be on the Silent 2 departure. Again, frequencies, airport's at 9 feet above sea level. And what we're going to basically do, there is no top altitude. So we're going to make a climbing left turn to 270 to Victor 87 and commence a right turn to SFO 36.
Open traffic, Southwest 225.
Basically,
30, passing 1,200. Right crosswind departure towards the east. Oakland.
Sometimes people say way too much on VATSIM. It gets annoying. But anyway, we're going to come off the runway, make that left turn to 270 and head up Victor 87 to Rebos. From Rebos, we'll be at 6,000 feet, then on to our transition. Our transition is Lynn. So we'll just turn to 66, heading 66, right out to Lynn. It's about a 65-mile run. Then we'll be getting into the mountains out there. All right, folks, there's our departure brief. Not sure if this will be available to us again next time around, but, you know, hey, what a racket they got. Okay, so the only other part of the departure brief, E-speeds, again, just as a recap, and we are clear. 143 for V1, V rotates 150, V2 157. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this bad boy pushed back and starting up. Now, finishing up the pushback. We've already got the doors closed, the equipment's clear. This is paramount in order to get started. Fuel pumps, we all know those have to be on. However, you have to turn the packs off. Both of these switches to off. And then make sure your ACARS program is running. I'm doing that right now. And where am I? Oh, there I am. Okay. Just got to make sure that's running. And turn off the parking brake so he can push us back. So then we'll go right into the start sequence. Okay, parking brake off.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Starting engines in this thing, obviously it's a Boeing, so like most big jets, start number 2. So bring it to auto, one more click over to ground. Beacons on. Okay, and we'll come down. Now I'll go to the engine page, we'll blow that up. Alright, so when it gets past that line there, we can turn the fuel switch on. A little late with it. And if you'd like, now you can't see it on this one. We'll wait for it to stabilize. Okay, now that flickering is the generators clicking in. The right gen connect connected. So that's what you were getting. We're technically now off the APU gen. Do not turn it off yet. All right, so we're going to come down. And everything looks good down here. Engines are stabilizing. You gotta love it that these aircraft don't park right, but that's okay. All right, he's just about done pushing us, so then we'll start up.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Parking brake set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Okay. Now we can start number 2. Again, very simple. Come up to the top. 1, click. Click. I'm using the mouse wheel, by the way, folks. That indication there that you see with the arrows up and down, that's your mouse wheel. Come down. Start. We'll go ahead and release them. Okay, and we're just firing up again. And that's all there is to it, folks, for starting the engines.
Disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Okay. And there's our indication that the pin's pulled. Now we can run the after engine start. Now hang on a second, I don't think we're stable yet. Oh yeah, we are. Okay folks, we're stable, so after engine start, parking brake is set, tow wheel is away. Okay, so let's come up to the top, run the electrics or engines, turn those pumps on. Anti-ice, we're not going to need it. Left and right packs, let's get those back on so we get air into the airplane. Engine bleeds on. Oh, I skipped those, sorry. APU bleed off. APU off. Gen off. Now, if it flickers here, folks, we may have lost power. Again, check your gen disconnects. If you do open the gates here and click on them, you'll have to shut down, do maintenance, fire it back up. And you can do maintenance right from the FMC. So, and then fire right back up. So, just to let you know on that. Okay, so we're done with the after start. Now we're ready for before taxi. Auto brakes to reject. Auto brakes is right here. Now, I know some of you are probably asking, why did you turn this on? It's just here, let me show you when you zoom in. It's just a digital reading of all that you see right next to it here. So you can, if you're like numbers, you can just look there instead of here. Taxi lights will turn on in a second. Altimeters are set. Left and right VORs are in auto. Left and right flight directors. That's something the captain forgot. Whoops. MCP has been set. State trim. That we have not set. Alright, so let me kind of get zoomed in. Make Actually, I probably can do it better from here. Come over a little. .3. We're pretty close to that. Oh, I hate this. We're going to leave it as is. It's really close. Okay, so back out. Flaps, 5. And that'll be right here, folks. EFIS control. Now that's slightly down. We should be able to watch. Okay, so we're going to want DH set to 200 on both. Weather radar and terrain off. Mode on map, which it is. That's what I turned them up to, by the way, 20, which will say 10 in the gauge. And we'll do a flight control check. Flaps are now at 5. You can see that right there. And we'll take parking brakes and go. So let's check both sides. 220. I'm going to put data on so we know. And let's do this. Click there. Now, the easiest way to do this, unless you want to go outside the airplane and look at the pretty plane, you can look at it right here. So we're just going to go up. I'm sorry, down, up, down, up. Okay. Rudder left, right. Again, we're just making sure when we center it, it centers. Then same thing with the elevator or ailerons. Okay, so we're good there. All right, so taxi lights on. Parking brake off. All right, so here we go. And I do want to zoom in before takeoff. Flap set at 5. Okay. Here we go. And you can see why I a lot of times don't turn those wing lights on. That's kind of ridiculous. Okay. Nice little wing shot there as we come off the ramp. Yeah, it's funny, when I used to have the static turned on, I never saw this many 767s, it seemed like. Now, it's like a dime a dozen. Alright folks, so we are on our way. We'll be back with you at the end of the runway there and do our before takeoff checklist. Okay, folks, we're back with you. We're getting close to the end of the runway. Let's hop back up. We're going to kick the speed up just a tad.
San Francisco traffic perfect Alpha will turn final really shortly to runway 28 right.
Oh good, they're going to the other runway. Let me make sure. Okay, well, we're not going to worry about it. Okay, so speed brakes will be off. Runway lights are good. Nose gear. We'll get the left and right. Here, let's get in the cockpit doing all of this. So auto throttle armed. Left and VNAV or LNAV, VNAV armed. Transponder all the way over to TARA. And we are just about ready to depart,
San
folks.
Francisco traffic perfect Alpha turning final now, runway 28 right.
Hopefully he knows 30 is not 28 right. Okay, we'll take the far one out here. So I sure don't see him. Okay, I'm going to hold right about here. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my radars. Okay, I still don't have him on TCAS. To be totally honest, okay, looks like we have plenty of room. Oakland traffic, FedEx 811, heavy, departing runway 30, silent to departure. Okay, we'll turn the strobes on. Okay, as we're taxiing out, I'll show you one of the other shortcuts here on the panel. PMDG enthusiasts will be familiar with this on the PMDG products. Right here, this set screw is your toga. So once you get up to your 60%, you can click that. And we're going to mess with the radar just a little bit here. See if we can't get it to clear. Okay, that's all we're going to mess with it. All right, folks, we're on the runway. Let's come to a halt. Lights on. Okay. And finally, make sure that timer's going, and it is. Here we go. Taking her up. Toga. And again, it's this set screw right here. Thrust comes on. Here comes V1. And we'll get the autopilot on. And FedEx 811's clear of runway 30. Okay, we're just about to our first turn, of which I'm going to set our heading. All right, folks, we're on our way. There's our turn. Flaps coming up to 1. Little shot of San Francisco there.
Los Angeles Shark, Southwest 3997, 15 miles an hour, 1.28 right. San Francisco traffic.
Okay, we are climbing away. Flaps are up. Let's do the after takeoff or climb. Flaps have been retracted. Auto brakes are off. And landing gear up and off. Folks, we are on our way. Hope you enjoy the flight. Right now, just coming out of the Bay region here. And it's starting to cloud up, wouldn't you know. Alright, so taking pictures outside the plane's going to be kind of rough. So we are now on our way. If you got any predictions of what the landing may be like in about 2.5 hours, feel free to put them in. But for now, we are climbing through 6,500 feet, heading up to 35,000.
San Francisco traffic, Southwest 3997.
Mr. Moose.
Good, right, San Francisco traffic.
How heavy are we today? Well, let's see. I saw that. Lots of vapor. Yes, sir. Hang on a second. Actually, we'll take a look here. Well, we're running today for the weight to answer your first one. Zero fuel weight is 299,000 pounds. We got about 100,000 pounds of cargo in there. So getting it over to Scottsbluff, Nebraska. Don't worry, they're just hoarding some toilet paper. No big deal. And we're almost to 10,000, so we'll get ready to turn the lights off. Yeah, the X-Plane model for the Vapor I think is a little overdone. They need to find a way to pull it back a little. But it's a really neat effect. I mean, especially neat if they could get it into the engines. But anyway, we'll get these lights off now. And since there is only 3 of us on here, turn the seatbelt signs off so we can walk about the cabin. Ooh, didn't know it would do that. Very not cool. Oh, I hit the wrong key. That's why. It's been that kind of morning. Alrighty, so we are on our way. Let's get our heading set up here. Darn it, I meant to change that. I thought I did. Okay, and
Well, San Francisco traffic, Southwest 3997, short phone, straight right, San Francisco traffic.
I'm going to be setting this up now. We'll turn that on. Okay, let me set the weather radar up too. Oh, don't do that. There it goes. Alright, I knew. Sweeping. May have it set too far out for it. Alright, looks like terrain stays off. We'll run with weather. And while we're thinking of the weather radar, we're going to stay on auto. I don't think that'll have anything to do with it, but what the heck. Didn't think so. Alright, so we're climbing away. Alright, so where are we? Besides somewhere in the air. Let's see if the problem with the terrain radar has cured. Has not. I wonder what's causing that. Huh. Really don't know. Well, let's try this. That's the only thing I didn't do the same. Oh, I'm still dialed up too high. Okay. So that's what it is. It's under 20. Or 20 or lower. Okay. Which is true. You know, that makes sense. So, kind of, sort of. But, weather radar doing good over here. Appears to be. Okay, so just making sure. We're going to go ahead and turn those nasty wing lights off. Make sure everything's set, folks. We're coming into cruise. Feel free to fire away. Awesome. Look forward to seeing you there on FedEx. It's a really good VA. They've got a good Discord channel active. They try to do a couple events each month. They lacked a little this month, but it was kind of, I'm sure, crazy. He's the kid's in college, so who knows. But it's a good VA. They've really put together a good FedEx VA. And they do have some aircraft substitutions. They also have historic aircraft, so the 727 can fly on. DC-8 747s with Flying Tigers, they too can fly on. The old 737-200, never knew FedEx had them, but they're an old aircraft, but that allows the 800 to fly. So you have a lot of aircraft there to choose from. And if, say, like the Dash 8-400, I'm sorry, the ATR is a tough one to find out there. So I know the Dash 8-400 Q400 is a substitute, and there may be another one for X-Plane. So, you know, they're really flexible in helping you out. So look forward to seeing it. Leading edge view wing engine. Sure. There's one of the, there's the right wing. There's the engine. And if you like, I installed a tail camera on mine. But now we're into the high plateau desert here, so I prefer the Pratt & Whitney's, but hey, geez, just as good. Ah, there we go. Heading over the ridges here out into the, let's see, where are we? I'm sure Sim Toolkit or Navigraph. Oh, they're still on. How about that? Trying to figure out by airports where we are. All right, let's take a look at Sky Vector. We're out by the Mustang VOR, Minden, in that area. Pushing towards Mina. Okay. Oh, we're not going over Truckee. Okay, Truckee's north of us. Okay. I have never seen a 767. Granted, it's not like I'm at a busy airport where we see them day in, day out with rolls on them, with the big old RRs. I've always seen more than likely just GE, but I just like the Pratt sound. But the GE whine, I like that too.
Microband 24 protects against staphylococcus aureus and enterobacter.
I really hate these commercials, but right now can't afford to go on a monthly subscription for Spotify.
Microband 24 sanitizing spray to keep surfaces sanitized all day. Spray on hard surfaces to kill 99.9% of bacteria and viruses initially, including the virus that causes COVID-19. Microband 24 keeps killing bacteria for 24 hours touch after touch. When used as directed, Microband 24, touch after touch, it doesn't give up.
Alright folks, we are on our way. Let's see, we'll put our estimates in here. Hang on, I'm going to do it the old-fashioned easy way. Alright, you've got it now across the top as well, folks. Hour and 15 minutes to go. So tomorrow's stream will be running just about the same as today, anytime after 12 o'clock. We plan to start up, I don't know yet exact times. A lot of going on in the household here. Alright, so once again we had to sign in to SimBrief. Okay, so let's bring that over. All right, so for our arrival, you see we don't have we're approaching halfway there. Here's our intended target. Salt Lake's here, OCS here, and on over. So let's go ahead and clear out what we don't need. Now I'm planning ILS 12, but let's take a look at the airport first. So we've got 1-2, which is pretty viable with the winds we have. Looks like they're so we'll stay on the 1-2. So that's going to be coming in from northwest to southeast. By the way, we'll be planning on parking down here. We'll get to that though in a minute. Alright, so alright, so we're going to actually do this side by side. Let me pull up our FMC again. Okay. That way we've got a side by side. I think I'm going to vector to morph instead of going into BFF, do the teardrop to come back, do a teardrop to come in, or procedure turn, call it what you want. Alright, so to plan this, let me just make sure. Okay. Alright, so let's go to the departure arrival page. Oh, we're still on Oakland. When it still says Oakland arrival or Oakland departure arrivals, click index down here. Look for BFF arrival. Bingo, we have no stars. Okay, so we're going to shoot ILS 12 morph. Execute. Back to route. Legs. Now, a couple of things we can do here. Let me take a look. We'll close that. Okay, it's looking like maybe there's no fixes. We're gonna switch. Oh, excuse me. It's been one of those kind of weeks. And there are no fixes. Okay, so what we're going to do, now what you saw me do down here is Navigraph, the evil child that it is right now. Next to it is SkyVector. By the way, SkyVector comes with this for free. That is a paid service that if their act doesn't change will no longer be on my Sim Toolkit. I'll look for something else. So let's see here. Okay, so here's our airport. Okay, that's where our fix is. Alright, so we're going to leave it like it is. Actually, I'm just going to go to direct after OCS. Let me make sure before I hit execute. Okay. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So giving you an idea of what we're deciding to do here is we're going to go direct. So when we come off of OCS back here, Rock Springs, instead of following the Juliet 94, we're just going to go direct Wharf, which is our initial for the ILS into Scottsbluff. Pretty simple stuff. So let's get into that brief real quick. Let me make sure I hit execute. Progress. And top of this. Okay, so we're 492 miles out. Alright, so real quick, let's roll through this. Okay, so for the arrival brief, as you've watched it pieced together by seeing the charts and all here, we're going to be flying the localizer ILS runway 12 into Scottsbluff. Now, frequency for the approach is 110.35. The final approach course is 126. Now, the radio frequency is identified India Romeo Mike Tango. So we'll dial that in here shortly. Final approach 126. Now, at Kapga, okay, that's this fix right here. Pull back just a tad. We need to be at 5,700 feet. Or, folks, I can't stress that word enough, or enough. So it's and or. Look at it that way. You're at 5,700 feet hitting Kapga, or you're on the glide slope. Either one, you're legal. You can continue the approach. If not, punch it. You're on a missed approach. The decision altitude, 4,163 feet. That's 200 feet above ground level. And that is conditional. And we'll get down and read the conditions here in a minute. The airfield's at 39,067 feet above sea level, and the touchdown zone's about 4 feet lower than that. Okay, now if we do go missed approach, we're just going to climb to 4,500 feet. Folks, that's not very high above the ground. We're only talking about 500 feet, and then we're going to go direct. Bravo, Fox, Fox. And then we're going to hold. And Bravo, Fox, Fox is identified as 112.6, and that is the Scottsbluff VOR. Once we get into that left turn, we're going to continue to 6,900 feet. So we're going to be holding at just under 7,000 feet. Again, 4,000 feet above the ground, giving you some, remember, we're in high territory here, keeping that in the forefront. Now, this chart right here pretty much tells us what we can and can't do with relation. We're going to be coming in from here, so 6,400 feet minimum safe altitude, 6,800 feet everywhere else. Okay, again, coming into Wharf, to Ledzi, to Kapka, Furpo, to the runway. Now, from Wharf to Ledzi, 6,900 feet is the minimum altitude. Okay, at Ledzi, we descend again 5,700 feet right here. That's basically a hard altitude. So that is definitely what we're going to set in. I'm actually going to set in 6,900 feet at Ledzi, and then we'll hopefully catch that glide slope real quick. Okay, again, the X marks the spot, folks, where you're at or above or at 5,700 feet or glide slope. That's it. Okay, for the runway, we're looking at Pappy's on the left and a Malzer if we need it. And then here's pictorially how we do the missed approach. To achieve the 3-degree glide slope, our altitude or our speed tentatively will be 150. So it will be between 750 and 800 on the vertical speed, and that should achieve us about a 3-degree slope. Okay, now I'm going to zoom just a little more because this is where the conditions are. ILS. Decision height. 4,163. As we cross 4,163 feet, go or no go. minimums for the runway, half-mile visibility. 4163, we're about 200 feet above the ground, so it gives you an idea. We're not going to have to worry about circling. So there you go, folks. That gives you it. Not sure why it says conditional. It looks pretty solid here, unless we got a localizer or glide slope out. Then, as expected, you're as far down as you can go rises. So let's get into talking about the approach speeds. All right, so let me pull this. All right, I didn't forget this time, folks. All right, so we've got everything set to, for now, 438 miles out. Salt Lake City, Salt Lake's right below us. Let's take a look. Oh, wait, let's go this route. Just easier to maneuver the camera. And then Salt Lake City should be the airport right up here, folks. I think could be right here. And then the city itself is here. By the way, this is a beautiful city, folks. I came into it, oh Lord. Oh, 20, almost 30 years ago in the truck. Came off this mountain range right in. This is, from what I remember the next day, not the prettiest thing in the world to look like. It is salt, folks. It's not the prettiest lake. But it's sunset coming down that hill with snow in the mountains still around me. Folks, that was a beautiful sight into Salt Lake. This would have been when the build-up, the city is gearing up for the Olympics back then. A lot of construction, that part sucked. But, you know, what can you say? Nothing. Grin and bear. So, but folks, coming off the Wasatch Range, which is these mountains right here, beautiful. So, enjoyed. One day, that's the only time I was ever there. Woke up at a printing place, is all I can say. Might have been a distributor of paper, I don't know. Behind them was these mountains, and it was beautiful to see. So, really liked this area. It was a good time. I went to Provo to pick up, headed back to Michigan, wishing they'd send me further west, but they said, nope, you're coming back east. So, fun time. So, I enjoyed Salt Lake big time. Alright, so the little computer there by the pilot's seats, we're showing VREF at 143. Let's see what it's estimating our weight at. .312 and 31. Okay, so let me pull that up. Let's kind of swing it around. We're starting to break out of the Rockies, folks. I think we have maybe one more ridge, and then we'll be looking into the Scottsbluff area. If I remember, folks, this goes back about 10, 12 years ago when I was out there, so it's hard for me to, and again, on the railroad, looking up versus looking down is a whole different world. Okay, so let's come over here. We are now 86 miles out, so let's start running that checklist. Okay, so seatbelt signs will come on into descent. Verify the freaks and course. Okay, hang on a second. We'll be putting the frequency down here. (110.35), 126. 126 is in. Hang on a second. There it is. Okay. So we got the, let's take a look at it. There's our ILS 11035, 126. Okay. Now let's get to our flap page. We'll go to the Intref page. Okay, now they're calling us at 3:15. They're calling us at 3:12. And they got us at 143, 152. We'll go with what they show. Oh, and it put it right in like I've got on my chart. It must be right on the edge there. So again, 110.35. 126, they match. There's our VREF. Auto brake as required. We'll go to with an 8,000 foot runway. Distance available is 8279. Okay, let me just verify. Yeah, 8279. We require 5,400 feet of runway. So we'll go with brakes 3. And finally, we're going to set our initial descent to 6,900 feet. Okay, and folks, we are just waiting to get in a little closer to start our descent. I'd say
Welcome to another episode of Ask Tomorrow. I'm your host, Tomorrow.
wasn't my
Better
plan
sleep
for there
makes
to
for
be a
better
commercial
and
running,
Casper's
but
cooling
it is
function
what
has everything the hot
Spotify
sleepers
is.
need to keep cool all night long, like the Wave Hybrid Snow Mattress for over 12 hours of cooler sleep. Okay, next caller.
Hi, Tomorrow. I need to break up with my boyfriend, and he suggested...
All right, so we've got all our
Get a
checks
breathable
done.
mattress protector. It helps hot sleepers stay cool.
I think I'll just go with flowers.
Yeah, none of my exes appreciated the mattress protector either. Casper, love your Tomorrow.
Play a little song here. And all right, let's see where we are here. 28 miles out. All right, so I'll let some music play on in the background here. And if it gets too loud, or we'll turn it down. Okay, so, all right, so 20 miles out now. Frequencies are set. FMC set. Auto brake set. Altitude set. Excuse me, 200 is our EVE on our charts. Okay, so pull my FMC up one more time. All right, we're going to go ahead and begin to initiate the descent. Actually, we'll let it do it on its own. Okay, one thing while we're waiting. Folks, it doesn't make a difference in the United States. 18,000s transition coast to coast, north to south, Canada, Mexico. However, Europe and other places in the world, transition levels change by countries. So, you need to check that and set that. Alright, so to do that, you go to your descent page. On the descent page, you click Forecast, put it in right there. And that's 737, 75, 7677. There is a descent page. So make sure you go there and set those, because that's where you set your altimeter to, from 2992, 1013, depending where you are in the world. You then set it for your areas so that everyone's on the same altitudes to the controller. By the way, we've hit top of descent. We're now 500 feet into it. I'm going to go ahead and pull my throttles back just as a precaution. Alright folks, we are now descending into Scottsbluff. Something I haven't been doing here very well. Alright, approach. We're not there. Pressurization, airspeed, altimeters. So yeah, we haven't been doing that checklist that well here. But I am gonna here on one of these flights set this up to where I do it. Alright, so we're beginning our descent. I'm going to go ahead and turn those nasty wing lights on. See, I'm on the sides. Okay, trying to figure out this hydraulic quantity issue. Nothing's other than the warning light. Huh, interesting. I'll have to look up that on the in the manual. Interesting. Alright, so not to get distracted by it, we are coming up on 18,000, so let's get our altimeters set up here. One last run. Okay, 2970. Okay. Again, see how it says altitude disagree? We'll fix that here momentarily. It's this set screw right here, folks. And we agree now. Alright, so here we go. Interesting. I don't know what this left hydraulic quantity, how to correct that if it's even an issue. I see it up top here. Everything's on. Kind of wanting to know what to expect. Okay, so we are approaching 10,000 feet now, folks, AGL. Okay, so and we'll come back to the music here shortly. We're going to just stay off for now. We are 22 miles from Wharf. Okay, so let's do our passing 10,000 feet. So transition's been met. We'll go ahead and get our few people in their seats. Okay, I don't know why it does that sometimes. It froze up on me, but it's continuing. Runway lights. Go ahead and set this to 240. And we're going to start slowing. And landing lights on. Taxi lights on. And we'll control the descent speed here as soon as we get slowed closer to 250. You can see Wharf is right there. All right, let's get some speed brakes going. And localizer approach. Okay, so there we go, folks. We're starting to get on profile here. As we come up to the localizer here, we'll be grabbing it shortly, and then the glide slope. So what I'm going to do, dial us back to 220. And release the speed brakes.
Caution, terrain, caution, terrain, caution, terrain, caution, terrain, caution, terrain, caution, terrain, caution, terrain.
Not sure why it blew through that badly. Okay, let's get the flaps and gear out. Here comes the glide slope. And they say just tap on it. Left click on it and that'll arm your spoiler. Okay, glide slope's alive. Got the runway in sight. Come all the way down. Got
Sink
the
rate.
runway.
Pull up. Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope. Sink rate. Glide slope. Pull up. Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope. Glide slope. 100. Glide slope. Glide slope. 50. Glide slope. 40. 30. Glide slope. 20. 10.
Okay, we're in reverse. Good chance we're going to use all the runway anyway. Okay, and the first officer got that. Okay, I'd like to really get into this hydraulic issue. We'll get that offline. All right, folks, welcome to Scottsbluff. Looks like 112 feet a minute. All right. And we'll, like I said, come off here at the end. Now, interesting enough, that's where we're parking right over here. Okay, landing lights we can turn off. APU to on. Off, off. Alright, Scottsbluff, Nebraska, here comes your airplane load of toilet paper. Okay, so we are in on the ground. We're going to run that checklist here. After landing, AP is disengaged. Auto throttles off. Left and right flight directors off. Auto brake off. Speed brake off. And we're going to go ahead just with the taxi light. Interesting airport, probably serviced just by those little planes right there. Okay, parking brake on. Okay. Alright, so APU is running, so the bleed can come on now. Gen. Taxi light off. Okay, flaps are up, and final check. Standby. And now we're going into the shutdown. Alright, to shut down, parking brakes on, engine selectors off. Alright. Alright, so let's get the chocks in. GPU up to the plane, ACU up to the plane, loader units, loaders and stairs, fuel truck. Okay. And back to ground, and we will click unloading. Back to the airplane. Beacons off. Hydraulic pumps off. And if the temperature's outside, the heat can go off in the cargo bay. Alright folks, we are completely shut down here. right. Let me bring up a few tools here. All right, so let's show the simplicity here of FSA cars with FedEx Express Virtual. All you got to do when you're finished, folks, stop. If you have any remarks, hang on a second, that is something I think that might be new. Oh, that's in case, I know what that's for probably. In case someone else is flying under my call sign. If we flew with a different ID, they have it. But here we go, folks. Landed at 136, which we were supposed to be at or around 143, so it's not bad. I'll take that any day. Little bit of a bank, 126 feet a minute, little bit of pitch up, almost 3 degrees. And log flight report. And now it says it's ready for the next. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, usually it says it's ready for the next flight. Okay, so let's come back in here. Okay, so we got off of that. Now we're going to come off VATSIM, and I'm going to tell you why here in just a second. Okay, we're off VATSIM. All right, folks, we are on the ground. Like I said, 112 feet a minute. We can't complain with that. And now is the time to review the flight landing. All right, let's take a look from this view. Just so everyone knows, autopilot is off. I am hand flying this with the throttles. Just wanted to point that out. And here we go, folks. We're closing in. Look pretty good from me. All right, let's back it up again. See what it looked like with the wings. And we're going to do it one more time from the other wing. Not as far out. Yeah, we get a little bit of flap movement here. I'm going to speed it up just a little. There's one more view I want to get. All right. Pretty good from the tower. So folks, we want to thank you for flying with Mike today. It's been an honor and a pleasure as always. Welcome to Scottsbluff, Nebraska, middle of nowhere. But we hope you enjoyed the flight. For now, from all of us here at Flying with Mike, we want to thank you. If you like the show, follow us. We'd sure love to see you on our following episodes. So folks, for now, we say goodbye, God bless, and have a great day.